Hi, Shripati sir. It was really nice talking to you and learning more about Prime VP. What we're doing with some of our capital partners is we're asking them a couple of questions for better visibility of startups and founders looking to raise from specific funds and get to know these funds a little bit better. So, my first question to you is that at Prime, what's your thesis for investments in Web3? What are some of the green flags and some of the red flags you see in a startup slash founder when they approach you or you get access to them through a channel? Which are some of the things that make or break a deal for you?
Okay, Karan. So maybe start off with like the areas which we are interested in investing in, and then maybe go on to your other questions.
Sure.
So the key areas which we are most interested in are starting with gaming. We are very excited about uh, both Web3 games, native Web3 games, and Web2 games, which are adding on-chain economics and capabilities to Web2 games. We believe that with on-chain assets and in-app tokens, which can be exchanged and traded in an unrestricted format, will greatly improve both the attractiveness of the games for the players and for the game economics for the game developers. And I think a lot of innovation here is possible. So that's one area of focus for us. Second area is really the infrastructure around onboarding Web2 users onto Web3. I mean, the great mass of Web3 users are still ahead of us, and making it easy and seamless and comprehensible for Web2 uh, users to start participating in the exciting world of Web3 is a very important aspect. I think a lot of opportunity there for creating infrastructure plays there. And third, of course, which is somewhat related to, overlaps with the first point around gaming, is around creator economy. So Web3 enables creators to really take control of their assets, of what they are about they're putting out there, of really the interaction between them and their audience, and totally controlling that user experience, as well as all the assets which are created in the process. So we think that with the real mushrooming of creator economy in the Web2 itself, Web3 supercharges that particular aspect. So those are the three areas which we are very keen on: gaming and NFTs, which are very closely related to gaming, infrastructure for onboarding new users onto Web3, and creator economy.
Perfect. So, sir, just a small parallel to the first question I asked. From the portfolio companies that you all already have, can you see some trends or any biases? Like every fund has favorites, every fund has a few biases. Like, would you want a founder to have vertical expertise if they're building something? Would traction always be very important? Would feedback from others in the community regarding the team, regarding their experience also affect a little bit? Which are some of the trends you see across all of your portfolio companies?
So I think that it's very early in Web3, so looking for demonstrated traction is a little difficult. But we're looking for two things in our teams, and then probably one thing in terms of the company itself. So two things which are looking is one, deep technical expertise, because Web3 and the ability to create dApps is just technically it's a harder thing, and having actual hands-on experience and having participated in well-known projects earlier, or actually having created dApps earlier, really makes it very attractive to us, because then we have a understanding that the team has a deep and comprehensive understanding of creating these apps. Because taking into account creating Web3 apps is very, very different than Web2. The modalities and how you deploy it is very different. The composability is both the advantage and comes with a lot of challenges. So I think that hands-on Web3 experience from a technical standpoint is very important for us. The second thing which we are looking for is, as part of the founding team, to have community building experience. I think Web3 is almost a community first kind of a ecosystem,
Definitely.
and you need the community to be behind you, both in terms of shaping the project as well as participating in the project. And so somebody in the core team itself who understands these aspects of building and managing a community is very important. In terms of the what kind of traction we would like to see, we would like to see first and foremost a fairly clear and straightforward strategy in terms of what user proposition is being, what value proposition is there for the users, and what kind of structure, if there are tokens, and what is the rationale behind the tokenomics. So that's very important for us. And we really love to see some community traction. The project itself might be very early, but the community engagement can start even before that. And so that really is something which we look out for.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. Um, okay, so my last question to you would be, what are the top three things you'd like startups to know about Prime? Which are some of the value adds, some of the things that you that make you different from a few different funds, some things that you specialize in and get on board, and how you can help these startups, scale, grow, and become successful networks.
Yeah, so Prime is focused on early stage. So that is our area of focus. And I think that it requires a set of both looking and evaluating deals and working with startups that is stage dependent. So we specialize in early stage. That's is one thing to point out. And the way in which we end up working, we are all operators and entrepreneurs as partners in the firm, and we have built businesses ourselves before. What we work very closely in the early stages with the founders directly on is the business strategy, which is ranges from product to go to market, and such, as well as partnerships, which we are familiar with. We have a deep history and experience in fintech, a lot of which actually translates over in terms of the problems you're trying to solve in the Web3 DeFi world as well, because similar problems are now being addressed in the DeFi side. So we are very excited about that and can directly work in with startups in their strategies around that. And finally, I would say that anything that the founders need that they need help with. And what that really means is that starting a company and building a company is a fairly lonely endeavor, as founders find out, because they're doing everything from designing strategy, writing code, to figuring out what the office is or cleaning the office, right? So founders do everything, and we like to be there as a sounding board for them to discuss and debate issues with them which they need input on. Ultimately, they decide. We don't decide, but we are very glad to discuss and debate with them on the ground floor with a lot of things. And we keep fairly regular touch with our companies. The result, we have a lot of context on the companies, and so which our founders in general appreciate. So anyway, that's in short about how we work, which is working very closely to as a high conviction and high support VC for our founders.
So, sir, when you say work very closely, like how short is the feedback loop? How often do you touch base with your portfolio companies, with the founders?
So it actually really depends on the founders, because how much they want to leverage us. So obviously we are available. It doesn't matter if it's weekends or weekdays or evenings or what have you. So if they call us, we will engage in a conversation, but typically no less than a couple of once every couple of weeks, probably more than that. It really depends on the founders, because it's not something which we impose on them, but our goal is to be a support where they can actually reach out whenever they require.
Got it, got it. Um, okay, so I think these were all my questions. Thank you so much for taking out the time. And yeah, I'm sure this would be really helpful for anyone watching.